Linguistic Justice Collaborative is a grassroots organization. Our goal and our mission is to identify, sustain, and at times design the language and literacy practices throughout what is currently the state of Georgia. When we use the term identify, we desire to identify the actual language and literacy practices that shape our communities throughout the state. When we say the word design, that means at times we need to design the language and literacy practices that will grow our communities because they don't currently exist. And ultimately, to take those different practices that are both identified and designed and sustain those languages and literacy practices that make our communities what and who they are. And there are many languages throughout Georgia. 13% of households speak a language other than English at home, and 10% of our population was born outside of the United States. We are also home to the most linguistically diverse square mile in America, Clarkston, Georgia, and 2 residential state schools for the deaf. With all of these different language and literacy practices that shape, grow, and make our community strong, what is it that we're hoping to sustain? We're hoping to sustain the language and literacy practices that include and center those language and literacy practices that are most at risk of erasure and marginalization. Therefore, our vision is youth being equipped for full participation in their culturally and linguistically diverse communities. This means imagining and at times creating communities and educational spaces that decenter the assumption of voiced, monolingual, mainstream white English. To work towards this mission, the Linguistic Justice Collaborative does not follow a traditional hierarchical leadership structure. Instead, as a grassroots, volunteer-driven organization, we match roles to individuals' strengths, interests, and capacities. All collaborators are empowered to make on-the-ground, in-the-moment decisions as representatives of the LJC. We can do this because all collaborators understand what guides our decision-making, the mission we're working towards, the theoretical framework that helps us define our key terms, an inquiry design that guides how we identify and design community languages, literacy practices, and histories, the theory of change that guides how we make decisions to sustain community languages, literacy practices, and histories. We can also think of these as the who, what, when, where, how, and why of our organization. To learn more, visit us or follow us on social media.